Yo, I hope same team. I hope we're all good. Right, this is going to be a short, sharp training here. Basically, with um a lot of competition still coming up. We're good, 2.5, three and a half, even 4 months out from season starting, from competition starting, and things like that. I thought this would be a perfect time to just refine our supplement stack because it's very, very important. I think sometimes supplements are the last thing that we can look at, whereas I believe just through trial and error, through studies, through education and literature, and obviously own personal experience, supplements can definitely be a bit of a game changer. It can definitely add a few percent to recovery, to performance, and things like that. So I think it would be really, really good for us to do this training and just refine a few things and add a few things into our supplement stack. All right. The first one isn't actually a supplement, but beetroot juice is massively overlooked. As I've kind of listed off here, it raises nitric oxygen levels, increases blood flow. It can improve lung function, which obviously makes sense with extra blood flow and whatnot, and it strengthens muscle contraction. So from a kind of cherry on the top kind of thing that we can add, maybe looking at 10 to 14 days before competition, it can definitely put our body in a more readied state to race and to perform from a strength or and endurance kind of standpoint. So beetroot juice, you can get them from like Amazon, I think like Tesco and things like that sell them. You can get little shots off of Amazon. I will warn you, they taste horrendous. They really, really do taste horrendous. But again, from the benefit of just increasing blood flow and an improvement in muscle contraction kind of standpoint, it's going to be very, very good for us come race day. All right, or competition day. Excuse me. The second one being caffeine. I would always like to start loading caffeine a little bit more aggressively as you get further and further, or as you get closer and closer to competition. Try and limit caffeine intake if you can, or go on a kind of detox or a break from caffeine until you're in an actual like training camp phase. If you're like, 8 to at max a training camp would be pushed to maybe 15 weeks. That's when we can start really, really utilizing caffeine as best as we possibly can. And like what I said there, take 3 to 5 grams per kg of body weight. All right, that's what we're kind of looking at for a top end kind of caffeine consumption marker. But as I said, we want to really, really utilize caffeine as best as we possibly can and make it as optimal as we possibly can. The closer and closer we get into a competition prep or a training camp, for example, and the closer we get to actual race day or competition day, and we want to make sure that our body's going to utilize and absorb caffeine as best as it possibly can. It can, if we're just constantly nailing caffeine year round, your body's almost going to become accustomed to it, and we're not going to get that spike in adrenaline and energy that caffeine can give us. All right, so keep that in mind as we get into your training phases and things of that nature. All right. Creatine. This is something I've experimented with for months now, and I've not seen any sort of negative effects. If anything, I think it's only boosted performance. Although it's very, very difficult to say that, you know, loading 5 grams post every session. So even on double training days, I'll be taking 10 grams of creatine per day. It's very difficult to say. Yes, it is just because of caffeine, because of creatine that I'm performing very, very well right now. Um, but just going off the literature on actual creatine itself, it just makes sense that it is helping me in performance. So this is something that I think we should all do: is start loading creatine 3 to 5 grams post every single session. So if you're doing double sessions, then like what I've just said, you will be taking upwards of 10 grams of creatine per day. It is an absolute staple in every single person's supplements that we need to be able to take creatine and take creatine on a consistent basis. I will say, and like what I said in the previous supplement training that's on the channel, is I've only ever had maybe two clients in the last 10 years that I've coached who struggle to really absorb creatine at a 3 to 5 gram dose, just because it was causing a little bit of like digestion irritation, if you will. But in saying that, to counter that, we just started loading creatine at a lower dose. We started with 1.5 grams to 2 grams, and then just got customized to that. And then we started progressing it very, very slowly, and eventually over, a 6 to 8 week period, they were loading like 10 grams a day. So if you are getting a little bit of, digestion issues, loading it with 10 grams a day, then again, probably start off with two lots of three if you have got like obviously a double training day. But this is something again that from own experience and then just through education and literature, it's been a bit of a godsend for me. So I think this is something that we should absolutely consider doing. All right. And then the final two supplements here is L-citrulline. Similar kind of benefits to beetroot juice. I just think a supplement's always going to be a little bit better and a little bit more refined than what like we can get from like naturally, if you will, from like fruits and foods and things like that. I just think a supplement is going to be a little bit more better dosed, if you will. So L-citrulline, start loading this roughly 2.5 grams per session. With that measurement note, I would just check the brand of supplement, the brand that you actually get it from, and then check the back of the pack, because some of it's a little bit. Some supplement companies dose it a little bit differently. So just go off, what I would say is just go off the recommended dose that the supplement brand has recommended. All right. But with this one, we want to load it similar to creatine. We want to load it well in advance. We don't want to take it just a couple of weeks out from competition. We want to be taking it at latest right at the start of your training camp. Again, a training camp being anywhere between 8 and 15 weeks. So if you're 3 months out from competition, start taking L-citrulline every single day. I've actually said there per session. It shouldn't be per session. It should be per day. That's a mistake on my part. Yeah, load it every single day. Just so we can get the benefits of it actually being in our system and actually, doing its job. Okay. And then beta-alanine. If anyone hasn't experienced beta-alanine before, beta-alanine is the ingredient in most pre-workouts. It's the tingly feeling that you get. Yeah, if you're not used to it, it can be a little bit like, what the fuck is going on? Sometimes it can be a little bit off-putting and things like that if you're taking it just before your training session. What I would recommend is if you are new to taking beta-alanine, take it maybe 20 minutes to closer to 30 minutes before your session. You're still going to get the benefit of beta-alanine. But it just means that the tingling feeling and things like that can actually settle, and you're not wired doing your warm up. But with this one, again, I've put per session there. There's a fault on mine. It should be per day. Again, I put a recommended dose in there of 3.2 grams. But with that one, again, similar to the L-citrulline, just double check the actual brand recommended dose and go off of that. That's what I would always kind of go from there. And then again, if you're 2.5, 3 months out from competition, we want to start loading this now. All right. So any sort of training camp that we're going into, anywhere between that 8 and 15 week mark, we want to start loading all these supplements, apart from obviously beetroot juice, which you'll probably start taking 10 days out, 14 days out from competition. But this is a supplement stack that I ran for my ultra marathon. And it worked an absolute treat from a performance standpoint, from a recovery standpoint, from an overall kind of just from an overall kind of performance standpoint, it was fantastic for me. So this is obviously something that that I am going to highly recommend. If you do have any questions in regards to the ins and outs of each supplement, you can obviously watch the previous training that I've got on supplements that is in this library. But if you've got any sort of personal questions or any sort of hesitations or anything like that, then again, just fire me a message. All right.